everyone, we've now entered into March and it's time to decorate my Bujo spreads for the new month. The color theme this month is green. I associate March with the color green, especially darker shades of green. I don't know if it's because of St. Patrick's Day or because the first day of spring is technically in March on the 21st, but it just gives me dark green aesthetic type vibes. I decided to go for another simple, medium-sized calendar on the right-hand side, just like I did the last 2 months. I found this calendar look to work for me, so I decided to just do it again. I originally had a different layout in mind, but I realized I didn't have enough green-colored printed paper and that kind of stuff to pull it off, so I'm gonna save that layout idea for another month instead. I always get really excited for March in particular because it always feels so fresh and rejuvenating, and spring is coming and it's exciting. Where I live in Canada, it tends to stay pretty cold and we tend to get snow well into April. Last year in 2020 we had snow until the first week of June, and then all of a sudden it just got really hot, just like there really wasn't a spring. Last year it went from winter to summer pretty much very quickly, and it was the strangest thing I've ever seen. Seeing snow and cold weather still in June was wild. But typically it is April that that change starts to really happen. So March is still pretty cold, but the other day I did hear Canadian geese flying over my house and the sound of them instantly felt like spring was coming, and that was pretty exciting. The weather's going to start warming up bit by bit, and we're going to start seeing less snowy days and maybe more rain. And I don't know how this year is going to go because last year it was so cold up until late May, early June. I'm really done with winter. I say that every single year. I'm done with winter when it just starts and I'm already done with it. But I'm really looking forward to warmer weather and better things. This strip of printed scrapbook paper I thought would look nice, and I think it would have been fine to use, but it didn't have enough dark green in it to fit the one color theme I have going, so I ended up not using it. I decided to also simplify things and have just a reminders list and not a tasks one. For week 1, I decided to start off by having some washi tape down the center. I've never done this before, I don't think, and when I saw it on Pinterest, I knew I had to try it. I struggled to fill in space with this one. I planned on having a piece of paper in the center with my notes for the week written on it, but again, I didn't have the right paper for it, so I ended up just making a boring box instead. Week 2 is a bit better. I added a calendar at the top of the page for this one. I haven't decided yet if I find the mini calendars useful enough to keep doing them, but they do make it a little easier to double check the days of the week when I need to, instead of having to flip back to the monthly page or to check my phone calendar. broke my rule of one color only here with the ripped page pieces, but I really was limited with the supplies I had on hand, and I didn't want to leave this page looking as plain as the previous one. These washi tapes are much better than the others I was using for last month, but even though they came in the same pack, some are stickier than others. They're not very consistent. The colors of them are slightly more blue toned than the greens of the pictures I chose, so it sometimes clashes a little bit. I also made a mistake with this mild liner. I thought it would tie in with the bluish tones of some of the washi, but still be green enough to fit in with the rest of the spread, but it turns out it's more blue than green and ruined that green-only aesthetic completely. I realized here that I missed this group of pics that I placed in my Bujo. When I plan out my spreads, I also pick the pictures in advance to smooth out the process when I'm decorating, and I place them between the pages of the weeks that they'll be included in. So I took out the rest, but I forgot this one, and then I couldn't remember which batches of pics were for which week. It took a few minutes to get myself sorted, but I eventually figured it out. For week 3, I dove into the darker shades of green, which was closer to the vibe I was going for this month. This washi tape in particular is strange because it basically has no stick to it at all, so I had to put double-sided tape down to get it to stay on the page. I chose not to use it too much after realizing that because I wanted to save my tape for pictures and stuff, or else I'll end up running out really quickly. Despite that feeling of renewal and that refreshing feeling that March tends to give me, that hope for the spring and the warmer weather and the blooming of flowers, March really is kind of a negative month for my family. We've had quite a few family deaths fall in the month of March, and it just overall doesn't really seem to be a very positive month historically for my family, and I don't really know why that is, if that's coincidence or something, but it definitely isn't a month that my family is really excited for as a whole. So my excitement for it every year is a little strange, I guess. I guess I just go into it every year hoping for the best. This year, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on this month. Unfortunately, a lot of really important big things fall in the month of March for my family this year, and that is kind of worrying just because of the bad luck we tend to have during this time period. So I'm just trying to be as positive as I can and try to remain optimistic about the outcome of these things and to not worry too much, which is hard for me because worrying is something I do like all the time about everything. I have some really chronic anxiety issues, so I tend to worry about the worst case scenarios before anything else right off the bat. So I'm trying to be better than really embody that feeling of hope that spring gives. Week 4 was even darker and really what I had in mind for this month. I wish I would have chosen more pictures like this and also made them a little bit bigger. I always make them either too small or too big, and I haven't been very good at finding a middle ground there. I decided to get out a green pencil crayon to highlight the days of the week to keep on theme with the color palette, since apparently I don't have any markers that would be the right color for it. This week is only 3 days, which I messed up and put 4 and had to double check. I found I had a lot of extra space on the upper right corner without that Thursday there, and I also had that strip in the middle, but I could only put the this week notes section in one of those places, so I chose the spot that had more room. And to fill out those open spots, I decided to add some really awkward looking plant doodles. I swear I'm normally a better artist than this. This is not a good representation of my art ability, but I was rushing it and kind of wanted it to look a little bit more loose and sort of rough looking, but they ended up just kind of looking a little awkward to me. I returned to the monthly page to add some washi here because it was kind of plain. I'm thinking of adding some more of those weird plant doodles to that blank strip on the left page between the reminders list and the vertical washi tape at some point to fill that space in a little, but I didn't end up doing it on the day that I filmed this. Here's the final reveal of the pages. I don't love the first 2 setups very much at all. They're not really what I envisioned, especially that second one because of the blue toned mild liner. It's just too bright for the vibe I was aiming for. The last 3 weeks are much better, more true to what I envisioned for this month as a whole. The 3rd and 5th weeks are probably my favorite overall. I hope this month is good to all of you. Thank you so much for watching.